mentioned, was dismissed from the program about a week ago, and it's just no continuity or no chemistry. But tonight, we'll see if they can put it together one time here at the Galen Center against crosstown rival UCLA Bruins.
This is the second meeting of the two. They got together 2 weeks ago. And, well, UCLA able to handle that game, winning 81-62. Which kind of got the Bruins going a bit. Backdoor cut and a flush underneath. Jacob Kofi strikes first.
Kofi's such a good cutter. Excellent job of reading the defense there. Asar gets double teamed in the paint. The corner cut for the dunk. Excellent pass over the top.
Now here comes this UCLA offense. Over to Sky Clark. Settles for a 2. Missed it. Battling underneath. Offensive board, Eric Daly. Ball is still free. Daly fighting for it. And ultimately, it's the Trojans that ended up with the basketball. That's one area where USC feels like they could have an advantage tonight. They had 17 offensive rebounds in the first matchup against UCLA. Underneath is where the Trojans feel like they can control this game.
Yeah, really no true center on the floor. Bilodeau, their biggest guy in the paint for the Bruins.
Arenas running out of time, but knocks it down to the buzzer.
And that's big for USC and Elijah Arenas' confidence. Arenas only 19% on the season from behind the arc, still trying to find his footing and find his way as a Division I player.
And he struggled the first time they got together. He had 5 turnovers in that game and just trying to find that level of comfort for sure. And he missed the first 18 games of the season. Very talented player is Bilodeau, able to body up underneath and he gets the bucket.
Good job by the Bruins attacking that pick and roll defense of the Trojans. They throw the ball ahead and then a hard roll and then a beautiful bounce pass for the finish. Now one matchup to watch here is Arenas against Sky Clark. Sky Clark, best athlete, best defender on this Bruins team.
That's Woods cutting his way to the hoop and the teardrop goes.
Woods, a guy that joined this squad mid-season. The transfer from Robert Morris has had an immediate impact, especially on the defensive end for this team, and just kind of settles this team down as more of a true point guard.
He's had some big games too, at 33 against Iowa earlier this year, including 19 in a row at one point. Donovan Dent has been the catalyst for all things good UCLA athletes. He tries to get the backdoor slash to Bilodeau, but the layup doesn't fall. Donovan Dent, 46 assists to 2 turnovers over his last 4 games. That is unreal.
That is incredible numbers. And I talked to Coach Cronin for about 30 minutes last night, and man, was he raving about the improvements of Donovan Dent, not only as a player, but just as a person. And he said about that, he brought up that stat in particular. Dent was a high turnover guy at New Mexico, 3 turnovers a game on average. But 46-2 is a ridiculous number for anybody at any level and what he's doing. And I asked Coach Cronin, I said, well, what changed? He said, I have just coached the heck out of turnovers, and he's really bought in.
That's Perry launching. He's been really good from behind the arc, close to 50% his last few games, and misses that time. Underneath to Kofi. He draws a double. Able to dribble out of it.
See, Woods has got to swing that ball to the other side to Arenas. Make the defense shift. The ball was already on the right side of the floor for too long, and now it's stuck over there.
Kofi running into all kinds of trouble. Goes back out. Williams. Shots off.
So just that little thing of not swinging the ball to the other side and making the defense shift made that a poor offensive possession for the Trojans.
Just felt like everything stayed on that right side of the floor in the same 2 or 3 spots.
The defense is locked in already on that side. You have to make them shift and adjust and move a little bit more.
Foul's going to be on Cam Woods. That's his first. Send Sky Clark to the line. Clark, an 88% free throw shooter who is petitioning for another year of eligibility after missing 10 games. He's their best shooter, especially from behind the arc. Also missed some time earlier in his career. And if you put the 2 seasons together, it's like a full year that he's missed. And the hope in Westwood is that Clark will get another opportunity to compete next season. That'll be next year's issue. Bruins trying to take care of business now as they head into the Big Ten tournament. He gets both free throws.
Now let's see if they can get Arenas a touch on this possession. There it is. A little pistol action.
Launching from the right wing, it's missed. Cam Woods. And now SC hasn't scored for 2 minutes.
Well, that's a shot that UCLA will live with. Cam Woods, not a great three-point shooter on the season. Only 16%.
And shot selection has been a big theme of the struggles for USC. There's an outstanding three-point shooter in Tyler Bilodeau.
Yeah, one of the best in the conference. He leads the Big Ten in three-point percentage. And Coach Cronin told me last night on the phone, he said, this guy is an elite shooter. Great feet, quick release, beautiful follow-through.
I mean, last 15 games, he's at 48%. Second chance opportunity doesn't fall. Clark gets banged up, and now the ball is cleared. Up ahead, Perry. Back to Bilodeau. Bilodeau through the contact and a 7-0 run. On the other side now, a foul will take us to a timeout. Ezra Azar will shoot 2 free throws when we come back.
Well, a good start for the Trojans. First, Jacob Kofi with the corner cut and the dunk, and then Elijah Arenas playing in his first crosstown rivalry, and then Tyler Bilodeau, one of the sweetest jump shots in all of the Big Ten, knocks it down. The top of this league, man, is so tough, so strong. When you talk about Illinois, Michigan State, Purdue, and then the Michigan Wolverines, who I think are one of my top 4 that can win the national title, and the things that Dusty May and that squad have done this year.
Ezra Azar at the line, and that is a place where he is familiar. He takes more free throws than any other player in the Big Ten. He's 17th nationally. Gets fouled 7 times a game and able to make the first. And by making that free throw, that's 1 more than he had in the entire game against UCLA the first go around.
And Azar is such a key piece for this team, especially when you lose Chad Baker-Mazara. Okay, he's the inside presence. He's a force that he plays with around the paint and the rim. Zone for the first time for the Trojans.
Tyler Bilodeau with 7 points. He's on the baseline. Leading scorer in this game. There's Donovan Dent. Finds Bilodeau. Cross-court pass. Sky Clark launching right wing. No. Rebound off to SC. Trojans going the other direction. Azar back out to Marsh. Jordan Marsh, 5'11" junior. Into the corner. This is Arenas. Shot no good.
And that's not a great shot by Arenas. Okay, like squared up. If it's like catch and shoot right away, but instead, like instead jab step, pivot, defense is loaded to you. Go ahead and use the ball screen there.
Here's Donovan Dent. Up top, 3 ball. Brandon Williams knocks it down. First Bruin other than Bilodeau to score, and that gives UCLA a 3-point lead. This game started with USC on a 7-2 run. It's been all UCLA since. Here's Eastern. Ball still on the perimeter. 7 seconds. Left wing 3. Eastern knocks it down.
Well, miscommunication there by the Bruins. They just lose complete track of Eastern on the perimeter, and he's wide open. Makes only his 4th 3 of the season.
Yeah, he's got 1 made 3 coming into this game in the last 3 months before that one. Meanwhile, Bilodeau is just on fire right now, already with 10.
That's a super common action for Coach Cronin. They run this side pick and roll, and it's cleared out. It takes away the help from Bilodeau, who's a great pick and pop guy. It makes the rotation too far, almost something that USC is going to have to adjust to.
To the 7-5 Dines. Underneath. And the layup is good for Azar.
And Dines at 7'5" can just see over the top of the defense, and I love Azar right there, just cutting to the basket, and the pass delivered perfectly.
Dines only played 5 minutes. The first matchup between USC and UCLA as Trent Perry looks underneath. Bilodeau, I mean, he is the hot hand. He misses that one. Second chance coming and a foul. Brandon Williams will shoot 2.
Now, as you watch this Bilodeau 3, okay, it's a cleared side pick and roll or pick and pop. Bilodeau goes, Ausar is in like a drop coverage, and then that's too far of a rotation for Ausar to help on the drive and then be able to try to get back to Bilodeau. Now, if I'm UCLA, I would go back to that play a couple more times to just see if USC makes any adjustments on that.
Brandon Williams, a redshirt last year after playing as a true freshman the season before on a team that missed the NCAA tournament, and Mick Cronin basically had a complete overhaul of that team. And, well, the nucleus of this year's club, Bilodeau included, really all started last season. It's become a 2-year deal, truly, for Cronin here. And now Brandon Williams, a part of that. This is the free throw. So Williams gets 1 of 2, and UCLA has a 2-point lead. Over to the right side, Kofi.
Look at Dent already in the help, just flooding on the strong side or tilting the floor.
Easter through 3 defenders gets it to fall.
Great drive and finish by Easter. Not easy by any means, in traffic there.
I know USC wants to get to the hoop. It feels like it's been tough for them to do so, but when they have, they've been effective.
Well, it's crowded in there because of the game plan that UCLA employs. They want to pack the paint. They'll back off of all of USC's non-shooters and put multiple bodies in the paint. And another 3-point shot knocked down by the Bruins.
Yeah, it's Jamar Brown who was able to convert. UCLA 4 of 6 from behind the arc to start this game. That time running into a triple team, lost it, goes back out Kofi. Pull up long 2 is missed. Dying second chance opportunity. Easter back out Kofi, slashing. Open look, left corner wing. And a 3 for Jordan Marsh.
Excellent play by Kofi, one of the most underrated parts of his game. He's such a good passer. And then especially at 6'10", he can see the floor. He draws the defenders there and kicks it out to the wide open Marsh.
Both teams shooting the ball well from the outside. Rivalry game, what do you expect? Of course, UCLA has played about as well as you could coming in. USC, the opposite. But right now, as we close in on the midway point of this opening half, all square at 19 apiece.
Well, Jerry Easter, the beautiful drive from the top of the key, and then he scoops that, use a little English to roll that one in. We got a good one here at the Galen Center.
Big news.
I've never seen a fine literally like a couple hours after the game.
That was about as quick as you possibly could get fined. Yeah. So Clark will inbound with just 5 seconds on the timer. Goes to Perry. Perry, he's going to have to put it up quickly. Perry has a seam, puts the floater up, and it falls.
You know what's crazy about that is Coach Musselman at shoot-around today, he talked about the UCLA Bruins being really good in the last 5 seconds of the clock. Perry had no panic. The first option wasn't open through the elevator screen, and he just drives that ball and shoots the one-legged runner.
Kind of feels like that has epitomized a little bit of what this USC season has been about finishing, as the 3 ball is missed up top. Tough rebound for Perry. He got it. Finishing games, finishing possessions, finishing the season. They've dropped 6 in a row coming into this one. And now in a crosstown rivalry matchup against a team that is tournament bound in UCLA. Perry. Inside of 10 seconds, 7 now. Perry looking for somewhere to go. Ends up back in Perry's hands in the corners, an air ball. Picked up underneath, got cleared. Clark barely gets it off in time, and this will be reviewed. Boy, that was like a 35-footer at the end of the shot clock. I don't know if he got it off, but wow. mean, that is a razor-thin margin. Still in the hand.
That's close.
This is going to be a very difficult call for our officials, Michael Reed, Michael Irving, and Tim Comer. And
right back.
Was the fingertip still on it when the buzzer went? Is it still in the hand right there? And that's what we're going to look at. And yeah, try to decipher if there's any kind of separation here. It could not be any closer than that. And kind of wondered why that ball got tipped back out by Booker in the first place.
Booker had control. He's the biggest guy on the floor around the basket there. He actually should have just tried to go up and go strong with it. Maybe he didn't have a feeling for what the clock was at.
I mean, it's a heads-up play by Clark to be able to catch it up there and knock it down. That was like Robert Horry 25 years ago, right up the road on Figueroa here in downtown Los Angeles. Maybe a little different circumstance.
Funny that you mentioned Horry. He has a son.
Yes, Christian.
Plays on the Bruins.
And trying to see where the ball was when it comes out of Clark's hand. I mean, it's in the hand at .1, and you can't tell at 0-0.
Now the question is, like from our vantage point, the officials are about 3 feet from us. Do they have the zoom capabilities? Like, because we don't have the zoom in, like, to see if it's like right on the fingertips or not.
I think it's important to note too, called a good basket on the floor. And I mean, I think they're trying to pinch in like you do on the iPad to get as close as you possibly can to get a look there. But we are talking about a millimeter of separation, if anything, and that's what you're trying to decipher.
Now from that, it looks like it's still in his hand. But if you turn that sideways, there you go. Is there separation? But they
on the shooter's fingertips when the light came on, therefore no basket.
All right. And the other part, because I mean it's happening all in real time on the freeze frame. I mean the hand's moving so fast, it's a little blurry. But well, the officials say it was still in the hand. Again, it's hard to dispute either way because it was so close. Here's Jordan Marsh bringing the ball up for USC.
If I'm USC, I want to get Ezra Asar a touch against Bilodeau. Make Bilodeau work on the defensive end.
Over on the right side. Woods to Easter. Trying to go baseline. Tough catch for Kofi. Now he's in trouble in that left corner.
Defense is swarming for the Bruins.
Cam Woods got to get it up, and it's good. USC all of a sudden has made 5 of the last 7 shots, and here they go hanging with UCLA. The Bruins have played well offensively, and kind of feels like USC's been able to pull the rabbit out of the hat to score.
Well, the Bruins, that's really where they hang their hat. You know, Mick Cronin had told me about, he said, this is one of the worst defensive teams that I've coached, but this is absolutely the best offensive team that I've coached.
So ball goes out of bounds. It's going to be UCLA inbounding. Here comes Clark. Trying to find Perry on the baseline, 7 seconds. Underneath the Clark, who's fouled, trying to get it back out to Bilodeau. That's going to be on Cam Woods. That's his second. Third against the Trojans. Inside of 9 minutes left in this opening half. Elijah Arenas returns for USC. Clark the inbound. Looks for Perry. Bilodeau was hot early. He had 10 points the first few minutes, and turnaround fall away too. Man, that is silky smooth, Miles Simon.
That's tough, and that's like a sweet spot for him. He started on the left wing there, Ausc pushed out that catch really well, but Bilodeau just has the patience, the size, and then the touch to just elevate at 15 feet.
A lot of contact at the hoop, and trying to take the charge was Jamar Brown, and he'll get his whistle. So Brown doing the dirty work.
Well, you know one thing, if Ausc gets the ball, he is going to try to do his damage in the paint. Great job by Jamar Brown, just stepping in front, taking that charge right to his chest, and he's a little bit actually shaken up down here right in front of us.
Well, that's a big body coming his way. Ausc at 6'9", 253 pounds. He picks up his second personal.
And then Bilodeau, just the patience right there, getting to the spot that he wants to get to at 15 feet. And then when you shoot that little bit of a fadeaway, it kind of gives you a more clear picture at the rim.
Bilodeau 5 for 7 to start this game. He's feeling it early. Perry brings the ball up, the sophomore, local product, Harvard Westlake High School. He's really emerged this season and just was able to drift right to the hoop and score.
Beautiful move right there by Perry, but what I loved at the end, he's playing off of 2 feet, gives you more balance and power and strength.
SC trying to attack, that time a foul. It's going to be a whistle against Brown. So that's his first. Just 2 fouls against the Bruins to this point.
Trojans ball on baseline.
UCLA playing some pretty good defense on the inbound. Trojans had to take their time.
Well, when you have a 7'5" guy as the outlet, you can just throw it up to him and most of the time easily get the basketball inbound.
Look, when Dines is on the floor, you're right. There is no excuse to not get an inbound. It's going to take us to a timeout here in the battle for LA. Galen set a couple of wins over top 10 teams in their last 4 games, including Nebraska, who won that college basketball crown last season.
Yeah, the crown could be like a great starting point. It's like almost maybe a spring football game, right? So, like, you're not playing for the NCAA championship, but I think Coach Fred Hoiberg used it as like a springboard into this season, and you see where they're at. They're a top 10 team in the country now. They got guys some extra reps, extra practices, and then game time. It's a super important thing, the postseason basketball for some of these programs.
Turned it into 20 straight wins to begin this year. Under 8 minutes left here in this first half. This is Kofi. Got bodied up trying to get to the bucket, had to kick it back out. 12 on the timer. Kofi now. Looks for Arenas. Arenas trying to get going, just 3 points so far, 1 of 5. Kofi hit underneath. He'll get 2 free throws.
Actually a good pass by Arenas right there. Come off, he didn't have it clean. He wanted to shoot the little step back right there. Kofi has the Bruin defender on his back, and he delivers it perfectly on time, on target.
So that's the first on Eric Daly. And you think about UCLA in their win against Nebraska, who we were just talking about. UCLA won that game by 20 points, the first double-digit loss for Nebraska all year. And that was a game where UCLA statistically had their best defensive rating all season, and that's what the metrics say, and Mick Cronin, the coaching staff, felt the same way. That's as well as UCLA has played all year.
So I think that's the frustrating part for Coach Cronin and the staff, okay, because when you show me that you can do something, that becomes the expectation and the standard. And you did it against a top 10 team in the country. You showed me that you can guard. And Coach Cronin, he said this statement to me last night, which I loved. He said, defense starts with your stance. And he said, being in a stance for a long time is hard, but also winning is hard. So if you want to do those things, if you want to win, be in a stance, talk, communicate, and that's going to help you play winning basketball.
Perry makes the extra pass to Bilodeau, who's been in double figures now 24 straight games, going back to early December. He's got 14. Both teams shooting over 50% at the moment. Rebound to Daly on the miss. There's Perry. Trying to go coast to coast, doesn't fall. Jordan Marsh. Now a left wing try. Short. UCLA up by 5 right now, which is actually their biggest lead of the night. It's the previous possession. This is a nice pass by Trent Perry here.
Yeah, Trent Perry's so talented there, just probing the baseline, and the beautiful left-hand hook pass as Bilodeau just finds the soft spot within the defense, and for the little touch shot. I think Bilodeau might be one of Coach Cronin's favorite players that he's ever coached. Said he was just a godsend for this program with how hard he works, how smart he is, and they're right on cue, knocking down that shot. Bilodeau, mom played in the WNBA, dad was a hockey player, drafted in the NHL. And it's something Coach Cronin and the staff focus on. They have to get him shots. They have to manufacture him shots every game for them to be successful.
Well, he's got 16 of their 29. Ball gets thrown away, picked up by Eric Freeney. Freeney to the bucket, lays it in.
They're going to need to get Cam Woods back in this game.
Timeout called by USC. The Bruins on the road. A 10-1 run to create some separation at Galen Center. 6:05 left here in the first half.
Well, defense to offense, they shut down the baseline drive, and then they pick up that loose ball and go coast to coast with the easy finish, extending that lead to 9 points.
And you get out and run. UCLA can do that with the very best of them. And in a game, again, both teams have shot the ball well. UCLA a little better at the moment. It just feels like, to me, eye test, the possessions for UCLA and their buckets have just come so much easier than for USC. It feels like the Trojans are really having to work every time on the offensive end.
Yeah, I feel like UCLA's defense is really connected. Okay, their shell defense has been on point. They've been stopping drives. They've committed multiple bodies to the paint on those drives. Now, USC has made them pay for, behind the arc with some nice three-point shooting. And then conversely, UCLA's offense, the ball's just moving freely, and it's a little bit easier for them, and then they're also converting in transition.
UCLA has made 5 of the last 6 shots, but they've really done a good job finding their primary scorer, and that's their leading guy, and Tyler Bilodeau.
Yeah, here's a guy, he has 16 points already. Right here, just resurfaces outside at the elbow. No need to dive to where all the traffic is. And then you can't lose him from behind the arc. The best big three-point shooter in the Big Ten. Now knocking down that as he creates space. And then we mentioned this earlier, the cleared side pick and roll action. Hard to get to him because he creates the separation with the pop.
I mean, he averages 18 a game. He's 2 off of that already. Again, we're the final 6 minutes of the first half. He's had 9 20-point games this year.
And what you love about Bill, he just takes what the defense gives him. He doesn't have to force the action to try to get his points.
I think part of what Mick Cronin loves about Tyler Bilodeau, too, and Miles, you brought up a lot of it, but just the work ethic he does, his talking with his game. Brownell comes in, misses a 3 immediately out of the timeout, and now UCLA has a chance to extend their run. Dent to Freeney for 2. That's Eric Freeney able to lay it in, and that's 4 assists now for Donovan Dent, who has yet to take a shot.
But they get that because Brown, that's a bad shot. That's literally his first touch of the game. Okay, and I know they're running a pick and pop right there, but still a semi-contested 3 leads to the run out.
Another tough shot selection. Ends up with a second chance and a whistle off ball. This is that.
So the Trojans, they come out of the timeout. That's a contested 3, and you bank it off the glass. And then now UCLA, who's already on a run, get out in transition. Brownell tries to vertical that at the rim, but that's all started because of bad shot quality.
It's a 12-1 run over the last 3 minutes and 11 seconds. As Eric Musselman will make some subs. He's seeing this game start to slip away. Also an 8-0 run, part of that greater 12-1 spree that the Bruins are on at the moment. Contact on Marsh. Ball reversed to the left side. SC hasn't made a bucket in 4 minutes. Kofi trying to change it here. He has it left elbow. Spins towards the hoop and taken away by Daly. Eric Daly went up and just picked off that pass. On the attack, Daly gets hit and has 2 free throws coming up.
Well, great job on the defensive end by Daly, intercepting the pass, and then now attacks on the offensive side of the ball. Daly's a guy that is described as just an absolute gym rat on this team. He's a practice warrior. Okay, one of the best athletes on the team, but he's still like learning and growing the game, growing inside of the game. But no one spends more time in the gym than this young man, Eric Daly, on this Bruins roster.
It was interesting listening to Mick Cronin just yesterday talk about him. And with Eric Daly, he says Eric shows up to work every day to give max effort. And there are so few guys that can do that. That's like his superpower, is his work ethic. And he equated him to what he saw from Jaime Hawkins. And that kind of drive, where he misses the free throw. 1 of 2 for Daly. Up ahead quickly. Out of control and a miss by Ezra Azar.
Cleared side pick and roll.
And there's Donovan Dent who gets fouled. Again, Donovan Dent has yet to take a shot in this game. And UCLA is still up a dozen.
But the thing about it is Dent is controlling the pace and tempo when he's in the game. He has 5 assists, no turnovers. He's getting the ball to the right people at the right time. Now Dent's a guy he's gone through some growing pains, transferring from New Mexico, where he was the Mountain West Player of the Year, one of the best point guards in all of college basketball. But you know what? He's playing his best basketball here at maybe the most important time of the season for the Bruins.
UCLA this year is 17-1 when they've gone up by double figures. They're up by 12 right now, and trying to trim that is Terrence Williams after the foul on Eric Daly, which is his second. 5th foul against UCLA. You're 4.5 minutes to go in the opening 20. UCLA has used a 9-0 run, part of a 13-1 run, to take a 12-point lead. Again, this game was tied 4 minutes ago. That continues to be a big part of the season for USC. And they even had that in their last game against Washington. Washington goes on a 13-0 run in the final 4 minutes. That game was tight and ends up being a Husky win by 19. 2-possession game inside of 5 minutes, and they ended up getting blown out. Azar 4 points, Arenas 3. That's been it. Arenas has it now.
Arenas has to be aggressive.
And right on cue, able to score.
Okay, this is a young man from the Los Angeles area. Obviously, he's the son of Gilbert Arenas, but Elijah Arenas was one of the best high school players in the country last year. Got injured, hurt his knee, was out for a majority of this season, but he's a super talented freshman, and then there's the miscommunication on the pick and roll coverage right there by the Trojans, and they just walk to the rim. But Arenas has to be super aggressive for this team. No Chad Baker-Mazara, who's their leading scorer, who could kind of create his own shot. Arenas is kind of built in that mode at 6'6", super scorer out of high school, but just has had like a lot of peaks and valleys. He's had some good games. You know, he's hit a game winner against Penn State. He had 29-6 versus Indiana, but he hasn't been able to find that consistency.
This is Freeney stroking it from the left corner. Right when the Trojans try to stop the bleeding, the Bruins bounce right back and knock down a 3.
And created by who? Donovan Dent, playing that true point guard role. 18-3.
Now in close to 5.5 minutes. Bucket for Arenas, back-to-back trips. So Elijah Arenas starting to heat up a bit. He's got 7, but USC is going to need a lot more than Arenas to try to climb back here, mounting a pretty sizable deficit. Sky Clark all alone for 3. Missed it. Dent now, patient, and then takes the lane and scores.
So the one thing in basketball that you can score with is the ball. And nobody stopped the ball right there, right in front of him, and 2 defenders leave the ball, and he just goes to the rim.
It was almost like USC was so interested in defending the pass, thinking Dent was going to give it up. They just let him walk right to the hoop. Arenas on the miss. Good rebound tip by Freeney into Bilodeau's hands.
Now shot selection, that's an area for growth for Arenas. Now when I say he has to be aggressive, you also have to be smart with your aggressiveness. Okay, that's a no-pass 3-point shot. So no rhythm on the offensive end for any of the Trojans. Good hands by Usc. Got to convert here.
Usc able to score in traffic and gets out in transition for the 2. UCLA still up by 13 after that huge run they went on. 18-3 in close to 5 minutes. Euro step for Dent, too easy. Donovan Dent, my oh my. 6.6 assists. And Dent is taken over. 15 on the timer. Here's Kofi. Pull up long 2 off the front of the rim. And a collision and a man down for USC. And in some pain, looks like Cam Woods. And that is going to take us to a timeout. The Bruins with a 15-point lead as Donovan Dent is taken over tonight in LA.
Dent has been tremendous in this last 3 or 4 minute run here. He just walks to the rim, easy inside hand layup. Now you want to overhelp. I'm one of the best passers in the Big Ten. Hit my partner and then, okay, you just leave the ball? I've been making those since I was a young player. And then one more time, the sweet Euro step, UCLA rolling. Sky Clark is going to set a screen the screener on Ezra Ausar for Bilodeau to roll to the rim. Miscommunication there. Okay, now the options are Sky Clark is going to pop, and then Bilodeau, usually the big guy, rolls to the basket. But they've literally run that play 3 or 4 times and have gotten a basket out of it almost every possession. Spain, or stack pick and roll, some people call it. Okay. Really well. So this is Spain pick and roll, or stack pick and roll, some teams call it. And so what you get out of this, you get Tyler Bilodeau setting a mid-ball screen for Donovan Dent. And you see as that mid-ball screens have Sky Clark is coming through the paint to set a screen the screener. He's going to screen Bilodeau's man, Ezra Ausar. Miscommunication here by USC. So Arenas doesn't know, does he go with the shooter or stay with the basketball? Dent does a beautiful Euro step around Arenas, but you have 3 options on that. That's rim, that's pop, and then Bilodeau on a roll. And they've ran that about 4 or 5 times here in the last 3 minutes, and they've gotten all the options. They've gotten a corner 3, and they've gotten 2 or 3 layups out of that.
Yeah, Donovan Dent, 3 buckets. They've all been lay-ins. He's got the 6 assists tonight. He's had at least 8 assists in 7 of the last 9 games. And you know, the 46-2 Gotti assist-to-turnover ratio of the last 4, but
let's add the other 6 in. Let's go 52-2.
Yeah, 52-2. That's right.
52-2. That is, I mean, that is tremendous point guard numbers and capability, and he's just running the show and figuring things out at the right time for this UCLA team.
I mean, he's averaging close to 10 assists a night, really since the end of January. That's his first miss at the hoop. Ball underneath. It's Azar who ends up hanging onto it out of bounds.
And I love Mick Cronin right here. Okay, he came over. Bilodeau gets that offensive rebound. He's surrounded by multiple defenders. Okay, Donovan Dent was wide open at the three-point line. One of the best times to shoot a three is off an offensive board. And Mick Cronin, he got Bilodeau's attention, and he told him, spray the ball, spray the ball. So find the open guy. That's what you've been doing all night. Don't go away from that. I love that. I love that coaching.
Dent the inbounder. Looking for Clark. Has it in the corner. Here comes Trent Perry. 10 to shoot. Bilodeau sets a screen for him. Pops back out. Perry keeps it. Gets hit on the shot attempt. And he'll get 2 free throws. So the foul's on Terrence Williams. That's his first. And now Perry will go to the strike. Just 4 points so far today, but man, he has been good shooting free throws this year. 86%, but has been lights out late in games, and 93% over his last 10.
Well, Perry just continues to get better. He's so talented, arguably the most talented player on this UCLA roster. Okay, really good offensive player, smart kid, high basketball IQ, played for one of the best coaches in all of California, Dave Revivo at Harvard Westlake High School. He's the 2024 California Player of the Year. Still adjusting to some of the speed and physicality of high major basketball, but man, his future is really bright.
I remember talking with Mick Cronin last year about Trent Perry when he arrived, and you know, Mick's at a point, I mean, trying to bring in a lot of transfers, and he did. Most of the core of this group started somewhere else, but Perry was the homegrown guy, and he's not taking a ton of freshmen, Cronin is, but he took Perry and is building him up. And now we're starting to see some of the fruits of that. Marsh shot fake, trying to get to the bucket, trying to get around his defender and able to score past Jamerson.
Great job by Jordan Marsh. That wasn't an easy finish by any means. Just kind of creating something out of nothing there late in the clock for the Trojans. Gets the ball, dominant left-hand player, uses his body, then goes up, contorts, and then beautiful touch in English on that basketball to get the 2 points.
$15-point lead for UCLA here at the half, or as we approach halftime, as Mick Cronin uses that use it or lose it timeout. They're trying to smile at Galen Center to will this USC team back. Coming up at halftime on the Ram Trucks halftime report. We'll have some highlights from across the country today. Some big upsets, particularly in the Big East. Marquette taking down UConn. They're going to preview of all the action on the final day of the regular season tomorrow, Sunday College Hoops preview. Again, that's all coming up next on the Ram Trucks halftime report.
Game awarding issue to the Bruins.
Welcome to Los Angeles for the crosstown rivalry, Hollywood style. UCLA with a 15-point lead on USC, just in the nick of time to catch the tail end of this opening half that has been dominated by the Bruins. I'm Trent Rush alongside Miles Simon. Donovan Dent kicks it out to Freeney, who fires at the buzzer. Shot is no good, but miles a half where the Bruins really were in control the entire 20 minutes.
Yeah, and it was Tyler Bilodeau and Donovan Dent. Those two guys controlled the pace, the tempo, and everything that the Bruins wanted to do and impose their will on this game to getting it up on the offense side, scoring the basketball, 16 points, 2 for 2 from behind the arc, creating his own at times, and then Donovan Dent feeding him on the pick and pop, 3-point shot. He's got it rolling, and then Dent with the assist. Okay, this guy has been going crazy with the assist to turnover ratio. 46-2 in the last 4 games, going into tonight's action here, just creating, taking his time, being patient. True point guard activity for Mick Cronin for Mick Cronin's starting point guard, Donovan Dent.
Yeah, how's that for a stat comparison powered by Ram trucks? Nothing stops a Ram, and Donovan Dent now with the 6 tonight. 52-2 assist-to-turnover ratio in 4.5 games for Donovan Dent. It was Bilodeau out of the gate, Dent across the line in the opening 20 minutes, and UCLA looking for more of that. And if that's what Mick Cronin's going to get from his team heading into the Big Ten tournament, heading in the NCAA tournament, UCLA can be a very dangerous team here in March.
Yeah, if the defense is on point, okay, which they had their best defensive game of the season against Nebraska earlier this week. They're having a good performance, good carryover into the first half of tonight's game. Offensively, they have the capabilities. They can score on anybody. They can put up a ton of points. They can shoot the three. They have one of the best point guards in the country. The defense is the big question mark. And now out of the halftime locker room, let's see what Coach Musselman and these Trojans bounce back with. Do they show some fight, some toughness? Can they make an early run and put a so-called dent in this deficit right here?
Well, they're going to have to, and this is a USC team. I mentioned the 6-game losing streak coming into this one, and it's 3 straight years that USC has lost at least 5 games, but for Eric Musselman's team that has been through so much this year, lost Chad Baker-Mazara 2 games ago. He was their leading scorer, kind of their all-everything guy. You're wondering how SC would be able to pick up the pieces after that, after Baker-Mazara was dismissed. And now this USC team, after a game got away from them late against Washington, gets the stop on the opening possession, but a missed 3 from Kofi.
But let's just be honest. It's been adjustments all year for Coach Musselman and this staff and this team. 15 different starting lineups they've had. It's hard to find like chemistry for your group or find like groups that can fit together because guys have been in and out of the lineup for injuries. You know, just Arenas coming back in the middle of the season. He's your prize freshman.
He's going to take a 3 and knock it down. And this is kind of what USC needed to do. They needed him to get going in particular now with 10 points.
Yeah, and I love seeing that from him because I feel like when I've been watching Arenas' games is that he's been a hesitant three-point shooter because he hasn't made them at a high level. Only 19% on the season going in.
Elijah Arenas is an NBA talent. And you just look at missing the first 18 games as that bucket goes for Eric Daly Jr. And now he is at 1,000 career points. It's UCLA's big man reaches a milestone. Azar able to score on the other side.
But I love that from Elijah Arenas right there. So you just made a shot. They get him the ball on the DHO action. And then Azar in the short roll because Arenas draws a couple defenders to him and he delivers a beautiful pocket pass. But you mentioned him being an NBA talent, okay? We talked to Elijah for about 10, 12 minutes after shoot-around today. And how great was he in our conversation. So here's the catch and shoot first. Knocks that one down. You put the basketball in his hands, draws 2 defenders, and drops the dime. And I asked Elijah, I said, what are the things that you can improve on in your game going into next season? And his answer, like, I thought it was really, really well thought out, okay, as Dent gets to the rim once again. But he said, whether I stay here or go pro, he goes, I'm just going to live in the gym this summer. And I don't care how long it takes, 7, 8, 9 hours a day, I'm going to be in the gym. He goes, and obviously I'm going to get my recovery. But he goes, there's so much I have to improve on, and that I have to improve on everything. And right on cue, just so aggressive to start this half, just catch and shoot aggressive. That's what you want to see from Elijah Arenas from a scorer. And so he said, like, if I got to just work on my three-point shooting one day, or my body, or shots in the paint with my dad, my ball handling. He goes, and then I want to ask pros and the best college players, what do they do to be great? And he goes, I really have to decide for myself, do I want to be one of the best players ever in the history of this game? And I said, well, do you? And he goes, yeah, I do. And he goes, I'm willing to put in the time. And I don't know if you know this, Trent, but his dad was a maniacal worker. He used to, like, set these goals for himself of, like, making 10,000 or 20,000 shots in the offseason. And if Elijah dedicates himself to that, man, the sky's the limit for this kid. He's 6'6", okay? He can shoot the basketball. He can handle it. He's a good passer. and then the work ethic and the drive is there. It's been a big adjustment for him having to sit out so long, okay, coming into the season. And I give him credit for coming back in midseason and playing in the Big Ten. One of the 2 best leagues in the country. That's not easy to do to start. He didn't get any warm-up games, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and you just kind of wonder what this season could have been for USC. Rodney Rice was their leading scorer at the time. He got banged up in Maui very early in the season. Shoulder issue. Elijah Arenas misses the first 18 games. Then Chad Baker-Mazara dismissed 2 games ago and really kind of carried the load for this USC team. And it really wasn't, according to the LA Times, not one issue in particular, just an accumulation of disciplinary action. And I guess enough was enough, and USC decided to move on, but they just have not been really what you thought they were going to be coming into this season.
But I like the force that they're playing with right now and the aggressiveness out of the locker room. But they got to do it on this end. They got to start putting multiple stops together because the offense is clicking right now.
Got to find an answer to slow down Donovan Dent. He's in double figures with 10 to go with 6 assists as Daly left a 3 short. Bilodeau, offensive rebound. Goes right back to Daly down low as it's tipped loose. Azar, who's got 3 fouls, does shoulder check Perry, no whistle.
He just trucked him. That's a big, strong dude right there, man.
It's like the fullbacks that roll through Heritage Hall here at USC at the Coliseum just up the street.
Look how many guys are in the paint. They're just loaded in the paint. If you could get like a video or picture of that, that was crazy.
UCLA still up by 13 points, but the Trojans trying to put something together coming out of the half.
Well, Marsh just getting to the rim, the beautiful floater right there, keeping the Trojans alive, and then Elijah Arenas knocking down the catch-and-shoot 3. Just going into that tournament, and a nice play. Little misdirection, screen-to-screener action by Eric Musselman out of that timeout. But this is that Wisconsin team, okay, outside of that top 4, they're the most dangerous one. Okay, they beat Purdue today, they beat Michigan State, they beat Illinois, and they beat Michigan. They've beaten almost all those teams except Nebraska that's at the top of the list.
Donovan Dent, able to get back and score the bucket for Elijah Arenas. He had that last score, and he's got 15 points, 9 of them coming here in this second half. As he's trying to, again, jumpstart the Trojans.
Well, a little screen-the-screener action right there. Good screen by Asar, but that was set up by Arenas, originally screening his own guy and then coming off, shooting that ball at 15 feet.
Foul here on Trent Perry is his first. Ball into the corner. Goes over to Marsh, back out Kofi. Now it's a corner look at the 3 from Cam Woods. It's deflected on the pass. Taken away by Daly. Daly up in transition. No look to Dent on a cross-court action, and now a reset by the UCLA point guard. Donovan Dent, who's averaged a double-double his last 5 games, has it up top. Over on the left side, Daly. Backing down his man. Inside the free throw line, scores it.
Too strong for Arenas. Gave him a shoulder or a little bit of forearm to create the separation. Arenas tried to hold his ground but couldn't.
Mick Cronin loves Eric Daly. Compared him to Jaime Jaquez when it comes to work ethic. Says he brings max effort every single day. Even when they're trying to take it easy, Daly still brings it.
Nowhere for Asar to go.
Long 3. It's missed by Arenas. Tough possession for the Trojans.
Really good shell defense there by UCLA. Bilodeau shaded Asar to the baseline, and then he knowing that he had help from Daly underneath the hoop.
UCLA 17-1 this year when they've led by 10 or more. They've maintained a 10-point lead for the last 18 minutes as Donovan Dent fouled on the shot attempt. It goes, another chance to turn 2 into 3.
Since about the 6 or 7 minute mark of the first half, they have not been able to stop Donovan Dent from getting where he wants to go on the floor. Somehow you have to make him a jump shooter. Here's a guy that's only shooting 22% from behind the arc this season. Okay, you have to go under and you have to maybe meet him. You got to meet him at the foul line with your chest in front. He's just able to turn the corner and get to that left hand way too easy.
Foul on Cam Woods is third as Donovan Dent goes to the line. And you heard some pretty loud cheers here inside Galen Center. UCLA brought 1,000 students to the game. They took 19 buses to caravan here from Westwood to downtown Los Angeles, and now UCLA on a 7-0 run. They've extended their lead to 18 with 13.5 minutes to play.
I love that, by the way.
Yeah.
That's very cool.
Now, there is a lot of UCLA energy here at Galen Center. You can sense that as Marsh gets fouled. And it's been a team that is trending up, playing better as the season's gone on. And that's just how Mick Cronin designs it. Foul is on Eric Franey as they're going to take a look at the shot clock here. And there's a couple of the UCLA students that have made their way. Try to sort that out. Here were those buses earlier today pulling up and just one after another lining up to be here for the game today. All kinds of students from UCLA making the road trip.
Just means more when it's the crosstown rivalry game.
Baseline 2 is good for Jacob Kofi.
Kofi, I'm a big fan of Kofi. I've watched his gradual improvement over the season, more confident in his jump shot. He's an active defender, good shot blocker, excellent athlete.
A whistle away. Kofi was able to get that one in the short corner.
Yeah, here's Kofi right here, okay? He's 6'10", transfer from Virginia, gets it in the little dunker spot right there, the little one dribble, rhythm dribble to knock down that shot. Kofi's had some great growth throughout the season.
Yeah, he has. He's been a really good shot blocker, close to 2 a game. Inbound goes to Franey. Open look, and that's just too easy for the Bruins.
Nobody fighting over the screen. Defender just got pinned in, showed no fight to get over with the shooter coming off.
And that's now a career high for Franey. And you thought maybe he would want to get some redemption against this USC team. He's got 10 points in this game. There was a play where Baker Mazzara, falling out of bounds, threw the ball off of Freeney's chin, and he took it and showed that it didn't hurt. You know it did, as Dent was able to score there, but Freeney's come out and had his best game as a Bruin here tonight with his 10 points. Dent knocks it off the leg of Ryan Cornish. And UCLA with a 21-point there, but Freeney's come out and had his best game as a Bruin here tonight with his 10 points. Dent knocks it off the leg of Ryan Cornish. And UCLA with a 21-point lead, getting the ball back. This is the play I was talking about. Took it off the face, and Freeney not going to let it phase him.
That was almost like the Kobe Matt Barnes.
Yeah.
Right? Except the ball got actually thrown.
Yes. And again, there have been some moments that Baker Mazzara has had this year that, again, that was one that, I mean, it's hard to determine at 10. It was, nothing was called him and out of bounds on that play, but there have been a series of things that have happened with Baker Mazzara. It's why he's not here anymore, and a layup goes for Brandon Williams.
Well, USC tries to go 2-3 zone because they haven't been able to stop Dent from getting to his left hand and getting to the rim. So they go 2-3 zone, but then the ball movement was tremendous by the Bruins, and they get the easy lay-in.
UCLA has made 5 straight buckets, and they are creating some separation. Progressive gets slam dunk savings today. And for UCLA, they are pulling away here in this second half. 10 of 13 shooting, 77% on twos in the second half, and the field goal percentage just lights out. Early on, it was about Tyler Bilodeau. He had 16 first-half points. Donovan Dent 17-11 here to start the second half.
Well, what I love that Dent has done, okay, so, like, sometimes the job of a point guard is to get everybody else involved first. Okay, Dent is a guy that can get buckets. He proved that last season. He's proved that in moments or different games this year. But he was distributing the ball early. He had the 6 assists, no turnovers, finding his guys, getting everybody a touch, getting everybody a feel and a rhythm for this game. And then towards that end of the back half of the first half, They put him in the pick and roll, in the Spain or stack pick and roll, and then he kind of like surgically went to work, and then he's carried that over here into the second half. He's the guy that has controlled this whole game.
And he's the guy that is going to dictate really what kind of season this is going to be for UCLA as he steps right into a 3. 14 second half points. He's the game's leading scorer. He's got 20.
So that's almost like a go-to play now for UCLA in this game. They've run that set, the Spain pick and roll, about 7 or 8 times, and they want to go under the pick and roll. And Dent, I know he's not a great three-point shooter, but he walked into that one beautifully because he's in such a rhythm on offense.
So here was Donovan Dent.
Yeah, so here's the Spain pick and roll. Booker sets it. Sky Clark setting the back screen. Confusion again by the Trojans on how they're covering it. And then he knocks down his first 3. And then now the defensive end, Xavier Booker, their best shot blocker, Xavier, the scoring opportunity.
Booker hasn't played a ton tonight. And it's kind of interesting hearing about this from Mick Cronin. And I mean, Booker averages 20 minutes a game as he picks up the foul here. Played 34 minutes in the win over Purdue. That foul is first. But after transferring in for Michigan State, sometimes Booker's the matchup. Sometimes Stephen Jamerson is going to be a guy that's going to get some minutes. But it's really about matchups. And Mick Cronin, again, his team knows that you may not play a certain amount in a game, but it doesn't mean you're not vital to this team. And that is a culture that Mick Cronin has built. And when the guys start buying into that, it creates a lot of team success. And the togetherness of this Bruins squad is really something that permeates in about every conversation you have with any of the players on this team.
Yeah, and this team just continues to grow and get better at the right time. They're hitting their stride in March, finding their rhythm. Dent playing his best basketball. Bilodeau's been tremendous throughout the season. But they can kind of plug in, play different styles, different guys according to those roles and what's needed on a nightly basis. And I think that's key for the NCAA tournament because of the different teams that you're going to face.
I mean, it really is incredible to think. When these teams got together the first time at Pauley Pavilion, we're talking about 2 teams that really were on the bubble. And you're wondering what kind of year was this going to be for UCLA? What direction would they go? And for USC, they were still hanging around. But now it's turned into 6 straight losses. UCLA on the brink of making it 7 as Booker picks it up, gets fouled, or gets hit from behind, no whistle. Transition opportunity, Marsh, hang time miss. Rebound by Booker, and it's going to be UCLA basketball.
That's a bad play by Marsh. He has Elijah Arenas, who's been the best offensive player in the second half. 15 feet ahead of him. He's 6'6". You got to throw him the ball there and let him make that play in transition. Marsh, by trying to force the action, doesn't get the finish, gets a contested, he's contested at the rim. You have to play super unselfishly right there and give that ball up to Arenas.
And then after the miss, picks up his 3rd foul. USC going to pick up full. That's not going to phase Donovan Dent, the New Mexico transfer, who really was a dominant player in the Mountain West under Richard Pitino when he was at New Mexico and made the move to UCLA. A lot of people wondered what kind of a fit this would be for Donovan Dent as he scores the 2, a chance to turn it into 3. And I'd say that fit is really coming together for UCLA.
Man, he had all the struggles the first couple months of the season. Yep. The ups and downs, couldn't score, wasn't taking care of the basketball. But man, is that fit coming together now better than ever for Mick Cronin and at the right time for this Bruins squad?
Mick Cronin told Donovan Dent when he came to Westwood, I'm not going to just let you be who you've been. I'm going to fight you to death to make you a better player. Donovan Dent has accepted that challenge. And now you're starting to see the reflection of that here late in the season when it means the most. Corner 3 is knocked down by Jaden Brownell. Still 72-50, UCLA by 22 points, approaching the midway point here in this second half. 22 points for Donovan Dent on 10 of 12 shooting with 7 assists and no turnovers. Freeney has the ball. He's had a career game as he gets fouled. That's going to be on Marsh, so that's 4 now on Marsh. That's the 6th against USC. Next one will put the Bruins in the bonus.
I almost feel like we should have a ticker for Donovan Dent, right?
Yeah.
He's at 53 assists in the last 5 games and 2 turnovers. Like, that'd be awesome. Just every time until he has another turnover, we just keep counting those assists.
We'll just keep the tallies going. I mean, he's had 7 20-point games this year. Freeney going to fire up top. He had 30 in the first meeting against USC a couple of weeks ago, but now we're looking at a player that didn't take a shot the first 15 minutes of this game, and here he is with 22 points.
Not a smart play by Marsh. Just trying to get a bailout call. Just keep moving the basketball. You're trying to find some rhythm or continuity if you're the Trojans.
The Trojans, who had a complete overhaul of the roster from a season ago. Eric Musselman this year, I mean, it looked like he had a chance to be special with Rodney Rice and the fall-away too for Daly. I mean, everything's falling for the Bruins now, but, you know, you thought you were getting Arenas back, but a torn meniscus kept him out in the first 18 games. Chad Baker-Mazara has a history at 26 years old, a lot of different stops, but you just felt like if you just keep that core together, that this USC team has so much talent, but sometimes there's other factors that trump that talent, and I think we're seeing some of that now as they are on the brink of dropping a 7th straight. This is Donovan Dent. The other part about a long losing streak in the Big Ten, it's the Big Ten. It is hard in this conference.
You know, it's like when you talk to the coaches in this league, and you're like, you know, what is USC like? What's UCLA? What's Wisconsin like? It's like they have to take this deep breath. They're like, it's exhausting being in this league. It's so tough. And this is a tough shot. Look at the step back going to the left for Daly, just rises up over the smaller Marsh, and he says, gives the Jordan shoulder shrug, right? But this league is exhausting night in and night out, okay? It's so tough. The teams are so good. They have these legit national title and Final Four contenders. Some of the best players in the country.
Circus shot falls somehow, some way for Jordan Marsh. I mean, look, even, you know, Ohio State beats Indiana today. As, you know, I think the whole college basketball world wants Bruce Thornton to get his opportunity, one of the best players to have not yet played in the NCAA tournament. It looks like now the Buckeyes are probably dancing as Donovan Dent is just carving up USC at the moment.
It's surgical right now. And, I mean, he made that look so easy as he, like, snaked around the pick and roll, took his time. Man, looking like the elite point guard that he came here to be.
Mike DeCourcy currently has 9 Big Ten teams getting into the NCAA tournament. UCLA is one of them. They project as a 9 seed. But again, the resume keeps getting stronger and stronger and stronger. And here in a rivalry game, they are taking over. And now on cruise control, a lot to smile about in Westwood right now. UCLA rolling. They're up 76-54 against their rival. UCLA by 22 on the road against USC, and it has turned into the Donovan Dent show. The Riverside, California native, Centennial High School. If anybody understands this rivalry, it's Donovan Dent. His first impression drops 30 at Pauley to beat USC, and tonight has gone bonkers. 24 points, 7 assists without a turnover.
Yeah, and you almost feel like he's done it 2 different ways in each of those games. He had 5 threes in that first game, as 15 of his 30 points, and then tonight we talk about the assists early and getting everybody involved. 7 assists, 0 turnovers, and then now just getting to the paint, living at the rim, and then he decides, okay, the one time you leave me open for the 3, I am going to knock it down.
Yeah, and that makes Donovan Dent our smoking player of the game, sponsored by Old Trapper. What's your beef? I think there's probably some Trojan fans asking that to Donovan Dent right about now. What's your beef with us? Oh, instead he's a Bruin. I mean, look at those numbers. It's insane. 54 points, 15 assists, and no turnovers, and they're still 7-17 left in this game. Miles, I'll hit you with one more. In this half, Donovan Dent has made 8 field goals. USC as a team has made 9.
Impressive.
Azar got in some foul trouble early, and with that made free throw, he gets into double figures with 10, but that was a player that you kind of looked like coming into this game. I mean, it's a senior night, had his family out here, but that matchup with Bilodeau was kind of maybe that one that USC had circled. If they were going to have a chance to win this game, they needed Azar to be able to beat Bilodeau. Well, Bilodeau jumps out. He has 16 points in the first half, really controlled the opening 20 minutes before really the Donovan Dent party got underway.
Well, I think the difference is, like, for Azar, he has to have guys that help create shots for him in pick and roll. You know, he's an offensive rebounding guy. He kind of gets his points like the scrappy way, all in the paint. Bilodeau's a more versatile scorer. Okay, he can play one-on-one on the perimeter, as we saw in the first half. Then he's a pick and pop 3-point shooter. So they do it in different ways. But Azar, yeah, he's not usually a guy that can get you 25 a night. It has to be really Arenas is the guy now on this team. Can be the big-time scorer.
Well, Donovan Dent just proved he's human. He missed a free throw. That's the first sign of that tonight. Ball gets kicked. It's going to stay with the Trojans. 21-point lead for UCLA. And this team, I mean, you can start to see the grin on Donovan Dent's face. He can feel it right now. And he knows he's playing some of his best basketball in March. As Daly got caught up in the air, he's going to turn it over. You also think about how one play can change a season. When Donovan Dent goes coast to coast to beat Illinois in overtime, it was like that unleashed this monster that is UCLA that people in Southern California have been waiting all year to see, and it starts with Dent.
Yeah, because it capped off that huge comeback. Like I said, they took those 2 bad losses to the Michigan schools, and then they're down 23 points in the first half when they come back home to Illinois, and then they just play their best basketball and make this unreal comeback, and Dent goes coast to coast a la Tyus Edney, you know, in the NCAA tournament to get this win. And like you feel like, okay, we can hang with and play and beat anybody now. And UCLA is going to go into the Big Ten tournament, and they're going to feel that way in the NCAA tournament.
Our guy Tim Brando nailed that call too. That was pretty spectacular. As Dent has it right now, 6:15 to go in this game, 77-56. Up top, Daly in the face, holds his hand to it, able to stroke it for a long 2.
Look how they swarm defensively. So active, helping each other. In a stance, moving their feet.
Mick Cronin knows this UCLA team can score. This is one of his better offensive teams since he's been at the helm of this program now in his 7th season. That bucket goes for Jacob Kofi, but with the defense they played against Nebraska, and now some more of the defense that we're seeing here tonight, I think we're starting to see that maybe UCLA is improving significantly on that side of the ball.
Well, the things that I'm seeing is that they're playing with a little bit more physicality, and you can tell the attention to detail for the scouting report has been super high. And look at that pass right there. Daly has to let that fly from behind the arc. It's made it a much tougher shot. But the attention to detail of the scouting report, that's going to be so important going into next week and on into the NCAA tournament on how you're guarding guys, knowing personnel. And here's Daly just competing. The gym rat, the absolute gym rat for this UCLA Bruin team's little tween action and knocks down the jump shot.
I love what Mick Cronin said about him. He goes, he devours practice.
That's a Mick Cronin guy right there. Right?
It.
Like the guy that wants to practice all day.
Hungry dog gets the bone, and that is Daly in every way as Perry makes the free throw. I mean, and the metrics kind of back up what the eye test is telling you about UCLA defensively. This year has been one of the worst defensive rating seasons that UCLA's ever had. Well, their game against Nebraska, their defensive rating was 20 points better than what had been all season. I know that for those that maybe don't keep track of that kind of stuff, the context of it, it just was really good. It was UCLA being spectacular on defense.
Absolutely, and when I talked to Coach last night, okay, I said, what was the difference in that game? He goes, Miles, honestly, I had a meeting with the team before the Nebraska game. He said our defense was bad against Minnesota. I put our record on the board and all these things. And then he goes, I just played an edit of Nebraska playing hard. And he goes like Nebraska doesn't have the best athletes on the floor, right? Or maybe the most talented guys. But on this edit, he showed them diving in the stands, boxing out, guys diving on the floor. And he asked the guys, what do you see? And he goes, the whole team, said, they play really, really hard. And he goes, that's the difference. He goes, it's not anything but that. He said, it's the effort that they play with on a nightly basis. That's why they're good. And he said they just came out like gangbusters, obviously, and beat Nebraska.
Eric Daly has just given UCLA their biggest lead, 25 points with 4:22 to go. But that, to beat a top 10 team in the country by 20 points, and then you back it up. Here they are at USC. In a rivalry game, and I know these two teams are going in different directions. A rivalry game, hard to predict how it's going to go. But to be up by 25 right now is a big deal, and that's coming off of that loss at Minnesota. I do think it begs the question, Miles. This UCLA team, 3-9 on the road. They have as many wins against top 10 teams as they do on the road all season. 1-6 outside the Pacific time zone. When they go to Chicago for the Big Ten tournament, they have to make that a non-factor, and you know it's going to be a storyline.
Yeah, well, it's a team that you'll have to be concentrated, obviously a little bit more. Luckily, the rest of your games are neutral site games. You don't have to go really true road games anymore in the Big Ten tournament or the NCAA. But they are springboarding themselves in the right direction.
You also have to think, too, I mean, right now Mike DeCourcy projects them as a 9 seed. If they could somehow get out of the 8-9 game, that would alleviate the opportunity to play against one of the top 4 seeds in the second round. That could be huge for UCLA if they could somehow get into maybe the 6-7 range. I know 6 might be a stretch, but 7 with a good run in the Big Ten tournament doesn't seem out of the realm of possibility.
I'll just say this. All these teams across the country, you want to avoid being in the 8-9 because I think there's great separation between Arizona, Michigan, Duke, and I'm missing the other one.
Florida's right there.
That's the top 4. There's a clear top 4 in my opinion. You want to avoid those number 1 seeds.
Up top to Daly. Got hit, and it's going to be free throws coming for Daly when we come back. All Bruins on the road. 84-63.
Well, Eric Daly has been cooking in the second half. Take a bow, young fella. You are balling. Okay, and then Mirkovic is great, and then you got the leadership of Boswell, good defender, guy who's been through the wars and the battles at Arizona and now Illinois, but at the University of Illinois. But that's a team that can make a deep run to the Final Four.
Down to the block and a foul. Jaden Brownell will shoot a couple of free throws after the foul goes on Donovan Dent. Donovan Dent, 25 points, and so much of that coming in the second half. 19 of those 25 here since halftime. Continues the assist to turnover ratio that, I mean, it's just absurd. 53-2 over his last 5 games, including tonight.
Well, and good for Donovan Dent for accepting coaching. Okay, when things weren't going well these first couple months of the season for him, and he's having his ups and downs and his highs and lows for this team, the turnaround that he's had and being the player that the Bruins fans and the staff were expecting and hitting his stride right now, a lot of credit goes to him because Coach Cronin said, he's like, I coached this young man hard. And for him to cut down on his turnovers, a guy who is very turnover prone at New Mexico, and to have this ridiculous assist to turnover ratio, big credit to him and what he's doing.
I was also, it's kind of a situation there in New Mexico with a high lob in the flush for Arenas. 7-0 run for the Trojans to cut it to 18. But when he was at New Mexico, I mean, that was on the heels of Jalen House, who's kind of an out-of-control player, very talented, but, you know, he played that way. And Jamal Mashburn was over there. I mean, they had some, you know, very good players. JT Toppin for a little bit. So, I mean, there was star power for sure, but Dent had to create so much on his own, and it's just very different now at a place like UCLA. And in the first half of the season, for a guy that was a preseason All-American, I mean, he looked like anything but in the first half, but man, oh man, he has turned it around down the stretch. And at the right time, here in the month of March. I mean, college basketball is a March sport, and Donovan Dent is peaking at the right time.
And here's USC just continuing to play, continuing to fight. Cam Woods gets that ball, throws it up to Arenas with the sweet finish on the lob.
Arenas with 20 points tonight. And you wonder what's the next step for Elijah Arenas. Son of Gilbert, the 11-year NBA vet, 3-time All-Star.
And speaking of his dad, Gilbert, when we did talk to Elijah, I said, what advice has your dad given you, you know, through your ups and downs as you've come back to play this season? And he says, actually, my dad just told me, he's like, you got to figure it out a little bit. I want you to figure it out on your own and think about it, all the things that you need to like improve on and work on and just keep going through these struggles. And I think adversity is good for players to figure things out. And Elijah seems like a very smart young man who's taken this all in stride, because there's a lot of eyes on him. There he's going to get, did not get the shooter's bounce.
I mean, a very thoughtful freshman. He evaluates everything. You can tell he's grown up around the highest level of the game. Ball gets stopped underneath as Eric Musselman was trying to get a jump ball there, and with USC owning the arrow. But again, it's a little over a minute and a half to go, a 20-point game. UCLA not just sticking it to their rival, but style points, trying to impress the committee going into the Big Ten tournament. Daly's three, an exclamation point, and a flex.
Well, that caps off a tremendous performance by the Bruins tonight. They were in control from about the 10-minute mark of that first half and just clicking on both ends of the floor.
Eric Daly had 16 and 6 in the win here a season ago, a game that UCLA won 82-76, and now under a minute to go before a third straight win on the road for UCLA at Galen Center. Here in this 267th installment of the USC-UCLA rivalry, so much dictated by the Bruins, really from the jump.
Well, Eric Daly, he's been tremendous here in the second half. The little step back, knocks down to three, and then celebrating with his teammates with the little threes to the head or the flex.
Daly, 18 points in the second half. Had 1 point at halftime, 18 in the second half. Donovan Dent has added 19 in the second half. Those two have dominated UCLA at 89 points, third highest total this year. They had 98 in the game against Rutgers. Should mention a regulation this year, but Donovan Dent, that big old smile on the bench right now. He knows what this rivalry win means. And now the starters come out of the game, Dent to greet them. And for the 19 busloads of Bruin fans that have made their way the 13 miles to Galen Center, they're on their feet knowing this is a significant win here in town. Free throw good. UCLA able to empty the bench. A lot of questions around USC as to what's next for this program. For UCLA, it's what's next this season. A double bye into the Big Ten tournament and a March date. back-to-back dominating victories to close out the regular season. They take down a top 10 team in Nebraska by 20, and tonight the rival. Ball comes away. It's to Arenas, and now a player gets hit at the end off the ball, shoved to the deck was Jack Seidler, who pounces up. He looks like he's okay, but he took a shot at the end, and this will be reviewed as he pumps up the crowd. And Mick Cronin's none too pleased. Neither is Trent Perry here at the end of this game. Again, this is a rivalry game. UCLA has made a statement on USC's home floor tonight. It's been a frustrating year. The Trojans on their way to dropping a 7th in a row, and you can see that frustration on display here.
But this goes on Seidler first, okay? Because he got locked up by Ausar, and then he's grabbing Ausar's jersey. Ausar just wanted to get out and run in transition. Now, Ausar gets caught because he was the second guy, and he reacted to what Seidler was doing, okay? And he gives him the shove to the chest and knocks him down. But Seidler was the initiator of that.
So inside at 23 seconds to go in this game, it looks like cooler heads prevail here. But again, this is a very intense rivalry that as recently as 2 weeks ago, two teams squarely on the bubble. Neither is on the bubble right now. UCLA has played their way off of it in a good way. USC has gone the other direction. And for the Trojans, they were hoping here in this final regular season contest, at least something to feel positive about going into the Big Ten tournament, but that has not been the case here across 40 minutes.
Well, here's what we got. So look at Seidler. He's holding Ausar's jersey. Okay, that's the first foul right there is on Seidler. And then Ausar gets caught, okay, because he puts him down, and then Seidler, you don't need to do all that. You were the one that initiated that. You don't have to stick your tongue out. You guys have won the game.
Yep. Azar's also about 40 pounds heavier listed than Jack Seidler, and the optic of that on Azar to the officials is going to look a certain way the way he went down just because of the size difference. I mean, Azar's a big guy, 6'9", 253 pounds. Seidler at 6'4", 215.
We will assess a double flagrant foul. One on number 2 red and one on number 30 blue. That's number 2 red's 5th personal foul. We will resume play with USC's ball in the front court. Shot clock will remain the same.
And I think they handled that perfectly. That was right. Both of them committed the infractions. I'm glad that they got Seidler, who was the guy that initiated it, and then Ausar was the second guy in that dust-up.
Usually it's the retaliator that gets busted. This time, the instigator and the retaliator.
Good job by the officials.
Absolutely. With that, it's the 5th on Azar, as was mentioned by Michael Reed, our lead official tonight. So he's fouled out of the game. E.J. Neal checks in. He will inbound here as Azar heads out for the final time on this floor. Senior on senior night. Not the way he wanted this final home game to go. Arenas slides to the bucket. Shot was missed. Neal fighting for it. Rebound goes to UCLA. And the UCLA Bruins are going to go on the road and get a statement victory against the rival USC tonight. All UCLA in the crosstown clash, 89-68. UCLA wins at their rival for a 3rd straight year tonight in dominating fashion.
Impressive performance by Mick Cronin and his squad. Donovan Dent, Tyler Bilodeau, and then Eric Daly in the second half was tremendous.